Streaming sports.
What's up, everybody?
What's going down?
It's another NFC show, episode 59. And we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and as, of course, a part of the Northeast Streaming Sports Network on Roku. So definitely download that as well. What's up, guys? Are you guys as excited to be home as I am? Because I am.
I don't know, but I didn't do nothing this weekend. I do nothing at all. I mean, since last Thursday, I did absolutely nothing.
Productive.
Because I called in sick Thursday and Friday at work, and that person was not me that you saw on TV.
I tell you. So, and I'm gonna go ahead and show this right there. To start it off, these were the hats given out at the draft. So obviously, and I'll try to get in close. Yeah, obviously. So we all understood the assignment because we all put them on ourselves. Here's Dan, Toucan Dan. Yeah, he definitely partied hard. He was there for Houston. And had a great time there as well. He was in the VIP section over there. I tell you, Vegas was great. I will say that, in the grand scheme of things, it was the third best draft behind Philadelphia and Nashville. Now, I don't know if you guys have been to Philadelphia.
You're kind of biased on the Philadelphia.
No, I hear you. I hear you because I'm from Philly. That I'm giving you that bias. But the truth of the matter is that Philadelphia was a great time. It was a great time. But I will absolutely say it was not as good as Nashville.
Yeah, I've heard Nashville's the best so far.
Nashville is the best by far.
I've heard.
It's still the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that I have nothing to compare it to.
Hey,
so
I'm with you, Sneaky. So I think
your kids. Nick's 12th birthday doesn't compare.
No, you're saying that because you weren't invited.
I wasn't invited.
I wasn't. You were there. You'd be like,
hold on. If I was there, maybe they would have had the cameras there because I tell you, I couldn't get away from the camera. It seems. I'm not trying to brag. I am not trying to brag.
I'm just gonna say at Nick's 12th birthday party, yeah, we didn't want cameras. It was Jenny hookers and cocaine everywhere.
It really was an amazing time. I hats off to Vegas for doing, taking care of that. Hey, listen, they shut down the strip, and that is
Yeah.
a national highway.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about some of the pull that the NFL has. The NFL absolutely has great pull to shut down a national highway
First time ever.
Well, I mean, I can only imagine how much money they made. Vegas in itself made this week alone.
Hey, when they're charging $10 for a 12-ounce Gatorade, they made some money,
Right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was
it was so
like $7 for like a bottle of water. About
Dude,
this
I-
much.
And I'll be honest. And I'll be honest. They said they were only at 70% capacity. Everybody was so. I mean, it is the NFL, and I understand that they are going to gouge a little bit, but the hotels were gouging pretty strongly.
Yeah.
And what happened, I think, is that a lot of people Airbnb'd it, and the hotels had to cut the prices down at the last minute. So people actually wound up getting deals. If you waited to the last minute, similar to like waiting on StubHub or SeatGeek when you go to a game, there were good deals to have. So, but it was a great time. Obviously, you saw the four of us together in the inner circle.
Yep.
So obviously our teams love us a little bit.
Yes,
Just
a little bit. Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that happened. Besides some of the things that were on camera, there were a lot of things that happened off camera as well. And then, of course, there was a draft that happened.
There was.
I understand that, all of the excitement that we went through, but the teams actually picked some players.
Yes, they did.
And I'm gonna for the first time start this off. I am so glad that Shane has represented what a GM, and I'm not trying to clown Reese or Gettleman, is just I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say I called the two guys that we were gonna get. Chris, it was good to meet you. Well, you live 30 minutes away from me anyway, but Philly, you need, and Pork Rind and True Blue, y'all need to go to his house and sign the wall. That's all I gotta say. We'll talk about that later.
Next time I'm in Dallas.
But what Shane did,
I go there only once a year.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. What Shane did in this draft, I wanted Neal and I wanted Thibodeau. I got Thibodeau and I got Neal. It didn't matter what order, we got him. And apparently Thibodeau believed that he wouldn't be there at 7, that Carolina was going to pick him up on that next pick. But I'm glad we went in the direction we did. A little wheeling and dealing in day 2. But overall, I give us an A-.
Okay. All right. And that's fair. How about you, Pork Rind?
Well, before I get started, I want to say congratulations, Jamie, for the 30 days of face paint.
Yeah.
For Philly autism, I think what you did was amazing. And I know you raised a lot of money, and kudos to you, my friend. I'm proud to call you brother. So
I appreciate that. It's so funny that you don't see me in face paint today. You know what I mean? And I'm so happy about that.
I was going to say,
like even yesterday, it was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go on social media at all.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't really have the opportunity to do that because everybody was texting me and such like that because there was so much drama that happened on Saturday that immediately, because did I get a date? Did I not get a date? We will find out later in the show. Yes.
But
well, all I'm gonna say is if you didn't, you're a dumbass. That's all I'm gonna say. That's just
time will tell, right?
Well, Matt, you
Exactly.
came right in time. But go ahead, Pork Rind. You started off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Commanders had a really good draft. I was looking for draft grades. I saw, a B. I saw on NFL Network they were talking about they had a sneaky draft, giving them an A-. I know their guy was Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, the wide receiver. And then I believe it was the Jets picked him up at 10. And so, they traded back. They ended up getting a 3rd round and a 4th round, which getting back the 3rd round that we gave away when we picked up Carson Wentz. So we were able to get some, draft capital back. And then picking up Jahan Dotson. I mean, the kid is, he's legit. He's, from what I've heard, he's got the best hand. He had the best hands in the draft. He's one of those receivers that can take the top off the defense. And, I've heard comparisons to Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin, and Steve Smith. So if he's anything like Terry McLaurin, to have 2 of those guys on the team, I'm very excited about. Picking up Fedarius Mathis in the 2nd round, defensive tackle out of Alabama. That guy's a stud. I was watching some of his footage and just running over people, sacking the quarterback, and he's in. I like that pick too because rumors were coming out later last week about us not re-signing Ron Payne. So that pick that definitely made sense. And then you're getting Brian Robinson in the 3rd. He's a pound. He's like the Thunder, I guess. If having a Thunder and Lightning quarterback, we got Antonio Gibson, who's a speedster. Outside the tackles, and this guy, Brian Robinson, he's kind of a pound and goal line guy, I guess you could say. But I, to be honest, I think the steal of the draft for us was Sam Howell in the 5th round, man. I mean, this kid had late 1st, 2nd round projections, and to get him in the 5th round, I think that was our steal of the draft. But yeah, I mean,
I agree about that one. I do agree.
Yep. I mean, overall, I'm very pleased. I'm excited. I really am.
Well, you talked about those wide receivers and such, but who's going to throw that? Carson Wentz?
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited about that.
Hey, you never know. I mean, you never know.
You don't know, but the thing is, now that Nick Foles has been separated from Chicago, does Ron Rivera go after him to back him up?
Never. We can't do that.
Oh my God,
yeah,
that would be.
I don't think so. In all seriousness, I mean, Sam Howell. I mean, he could possibly step in mid-year and take over the job. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, Carson Wentz, maybe this is the change that he needs. He knows that this might be his last resort. So it's either step in and ball out, or you're done. So we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, I'm excited.
It always does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it because the thing I loved about Heineke, he had a heart, but damn it, he did not have an arm. His arm strength was not the greatest. Where Carson can throw the ball. He might throw it to the opposite team a little bit more, but we'll see.
Yeah, we shall. So, what did you give your overall grade?
I'd say a B.
A B. Okay. Let's go with True Blue, because I know Sneaky's got a lot to say just because he had a couple of picks in the 1st round and he picked his guys and stuff like that. So just because he's a little bit more long-winded than you are, I'm gonna go with you guys.
I didn't go that long this time. I kept it short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Not on purpose though. Not on purpose.
Yeah.
Go ahead, True. What you got?
We there was a lot of hoopla after our 1st round pick of Tyler Smith, our offensive lineman. And the kid is a big kid coming out of Tulsa. He wasn't even scheduled to go in the 1st round, but the productivity that he put across on the film is what set him apart from other offensive linemen at that high of at 24, sitting there at 24. And there were a couple of other teams trying to come in and sneak him in before the Dallas Cowboys could. And Dallas Cowboys, they were willing and dealing, but teams wanted to come in before them and make that pick. So I'm glad we got another replacement for Connor. That's because that's where he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing guard, not offensive tackle. And they say with the film and everything else, he's going to have, some productivity. It's going to be a learning curve for him. Going through the second rounds, we picked up an offensive linebacker, Sean Williams, and I'm with Micah Parsons. Everybody critiqued this guy as not saying that he's good enough, and you look at the stats. His stats are just beyond, what everybody else is having in college years. So I don't know what the hell they're looking at, but I think overall in our selection, I'm going to give ourselves a B+ for the draft position that we had, and the compensation picks that we came away with. The undrafted, that's huge for us. We picked up some really good players on the undrafted list, and as a matter of fact, there was one decommitment from the Washington Commanders that left them and committed to the Dallas Cowboys at last minute on this past Saturday. So
who was that?
That was Henderson out of A&M.
Okay.
Yeah, he decommitted right at the last moment, and he said, "Nah, I don't want to be a Washington Commander." And so he just up and left. Hansford, Hansford, Aaron Hansford, not Henderson, linebacker out of Texas A&M. So overall, like I said, I give what for the position that we're sitting at 24, and the compensation picks we got a B+.
B+. All right. And Sneaky, what grade did you give? I know you talked about it briefly, but you only talked about the first 2 picks. So.
Well, no. Well, I gave the Giants A-, mainly because we addressed all our needs, and only wild card is the second round pick, the wide receiver Robinson from Kentucky. I think it's everybody kind of nobody knew who he was. After I got to the room, checked him out, looked at his highlights, and the guy's a stud. He's a fast guy. He can be put on punt block, or I'm sorry, receiving punts as a slot receiver. Yeah, and then we even addressed the offensive line too, even more with depth. So, hold on a second.
Yes, it is, Sandy. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, Sandy.
Yeah, Joshua, we picked up, and I'm not even going to try his last name. There's no way I'm going to try what LSU. Hold on a second. Yeah,
I tell you, here's the one thing I'm going to say about your draft.
About the Giants?
About the Giants draft.
Okay.
The kid that announced the first round pick, the first pick, was the best part of that draft.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
And I'm getting a little note, side note to Sneaky that you're echoing.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too.
Good enough. But yeah, that kid was amazing. The kid was amazing, and I did a little TikTok for the people that saw that follow my account. Obviously, I did a little thing for him. But that kid is, obviously getting a heart transplant's a big deal. To get the Make-A-Wish, but he brought the fire. He brought the fire. The only person that I know of that has that type of energy is me. Yep. So he rivals me.
He apparently he was born with half of a heart and a lung, just one lung, or something like that. And at age, I just spoke to him today earlier about it. I think it was at 11 or 14. I gotta double check that. That's when he had the surgery.
I mean, he's 16 now.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
Yeah, like I said, strong. And what surprised me was that as he was, he's going to the bathroom, but he saw me and he goes, "Philly sports guy."
Yeah.
And it was like, damn, that he follows me. And I blushed on that. I'm like, damn, he's the one calling the pick. He's the one that has all that energy, and he follows me, which was kind of cool. So
when I he saw
I'm like,
me,
I'm not taking a picture. We're doing a TikTok.
he did the same thing with me on day 2, and then cut 2. I'm at work this morning, and I'm going through my Instagram DMs. He actually before he was following me on Instagram, but he was one of the many that gave me condolences when my dad passed. And I mean that was for those that don't know, in July my dad passed away. Everybody here gave me some love. Thank you so much, Philly. You made an awesome TikTok tribute to him and myself and the family more so. And that's a special place. You know what I'm saying? And it builds on the relationship with everybody. And yeah, he was one of the many that showed me some love on that day, and that just kind of made that experience a little bit better, obviously.
I understand, so, but yeah, he was definitely full of the energy. Hey, Juan, I see your quote there. I can't put that on top of there, but obviously I didn't think I agree that the G-men didn't screw it up a little bit, although they still don't have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, Jones did not get his 5th-year option signed, so
does that mean they're going to franchise him after this year?
He has to do something. He has to prove himself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he didn't. I mean, you got to look at this too as well. True, Dak didn't get his. But he was a 4th rounder. He wouldn't have gotten an extension.
Correct.
He wouldn't have got a 5th-year option. But it did take him another year for them to re-sign him to the deal that they got, or deal that he got.
Yeah, they did franchise him 1 year, right? And then that's when they signed him for the extension.
That's when he broke his ankle.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I say that after so you gave yourself an A-.
Yeah.
I will say that I also am giving the Eagles an A-. However, I'm going to give them an A- plus, just to be a little bit ahead of you, because we definitely won this draft. We definitely won this draft in every way possible. We won the draft on Thursday. We won the draft on Friday, and on Saturday, I would say that I won the draft because it was the most talked about thing. Obviously, the Philly sports guy has got some game, and I mean, obviously, I'll let everybody know before the end of this episode whether what the real story is on this. But Daddy's got some.
You've got some game. I will give you that.
It cracks me up because it was a very fun time, and it was a little unexpected, and because I am used to being in Philadelphia, and there are players that don't like to shoot shots. Sometimes you just got to go for it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll never get. There was a girl. I'm not gonna say her name. In middle school, she, I asked her to be my girlfriend. She said no. All right. Went home, bummed out. My dad was like, look, she kind of did you a favor. I'm like, what do you mean? Had she would have said yes, you would have spent too much time with her, away from your friends, because you like your friends. You would have spent my money because you ain't got a job. And I tell you no half the time. So just, so I grew up, from that point on, rejection is not necessarily a bad thing. And, yeah, you got to at least shoot your shot. And if you miss, there's more. There's more.
I mean, realistically, I made out. Not literally.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, really? You made out? Okay, well, please tell us slowly.
That was off camera.
Right.
But I mean, it's how often do you get that? How often do you get the opportunity to have that happen?
So I got to say this. Somebody did ask me, because they looked at you, Pork Ryan. This, of course, this after we took that epic picture, which I'm glad we got to take at the draft, all four of us. It was someone said, "How come you're not painted up?" And I'm like, I ain't got time for that. I wear rings. I wear
like
rings.
around the toilet bowl.
Well, you know what? Hey, as long as there's four, and not one.
So, all right. So now that we're talking about your toilet bowl, because I ain't interested. So the Eagles did win this draft, and they won it by getting, again, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, and I will say it forever. Big men on the line win championships, and that's what you do with first round and second round picks. That's what I would do. That's what you do. And they literally got the big man in the first round, Jordan Davis. It's the guy I said that they were going to win, and I said that was going to be what happens.
That's that famous guy that's all over.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And
see,
then-
here's the thing I remember saying before the draft had even started. Nine of the first round picks had multiple picks.
Yeah.
So you look at it, you had 9 teams make multiple picks in the first round. Right there's 18 players.
Yep.
So, I mean, either way you looked at it, I mean, that's why I'm saying with what we had left at 24, I think we did great. There was a little skittish and going in, but I mean, we got some steals. I got a steal from Wisconsin, tight end kid. I got that defensive tackle kid out of Arkansas. There was just some other mean guys that were sitting there in other positions because those 9 teams, with multiple picks, all wanted those top talents, which, that's what you get. But in year 3 and 4, we'll see how good they're doing and see whether the salary is going to be met for those kids.
Right.
Because that's going to be a lot of money for all these teams.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well,
So I got Gabe chiming in. He says AJ Brown needs to get himself a quarterback that can throw further than 5 yards.
Hey, you know what? He can talk all he wants. This is these guys are best friends.
Right. Did you see the Instagram video that they had together?
Of course. How do I not see that? You know what I mean? Obviously, I've been working on my boy. You know what I mean? That was kind of one of the things that he was saying. He's like, say no more. You know what I mean? Let's do this. Say no more. So I feel that they already have that chemistry. You know what I mean? Because when you're playing with your best friend, you guys know kind of what the other one is doing. And I feel that that's what Tom Brady has done with Gronk. He's been able to do that a lot. And this is what you're going to find, that when you start scrambling, that you're going to have certain ideas on how to go about things. And that's going to be what each of you are thinking. So you're going to be able to get some of them longer balls down the field. So we'll see. Obviously, we got to play the games first, but we got a lot better. We got 2 an offense and a defensive lineman. Jason Kelsey straight out picked that center pick. I have his name right here. It's bad for me. Cameron Jurgens. And of course, I thought our steal of the draft, other than Brown, was Nakobe Dean. Obviously he's a little hurt, but he has not missed not one game ever. So
best position available.
Yeah. So the fact that everybody else passed on him, is going to come back to haunt some people.
Yeah,
and then, God, I'm sorry.
No, that's the thing. I'm seeing a couple of the comments. The best position available is not always the best position for the team. We might be overcrowded if that's there. Why take that? And that's the reason we took the offensive tackle from Tulsa. There was other teams who were trying to trade up before the Dallas Cowboys to try and get that kid, and Dallas stuck with their guns and picked who they wanted. It's not always, you hear all these teams, best position available. But what if you're already stacked at that position?
Exactly.
Right.
You can't do that to your organization, to fellow players, because then you're on the line for more money, and then you're going to try and have to develop that player into another position.
Well, not only that is it's okay for one thing to gain depth, but how many times we've seen Hard Knock Life when they're like, oh, it's just a numbers thing. How many times did we see that when a player got cut, but then they become successful on another team?
Exactly.
And you don't want to sabotage or hurt yourself in that way. But what I was saying before my mic cut out on me is that is this going to be a similar trend? And what I mean by that is, Chase with Barrows. Now we have Brown with Hurts, and of course the whole situation with Murray wanting CD back on his squad, or vice versa. Is this going to be a trend now that we're going to see quarterbacks with their guys in college because they already have that chemistry?
Well, you're starting to see it play out. We're literally seeing it play out before us.
Yeah.
And especially at the quarterback wide receiver position, they're so comfortable with each other. They know the steps. They've practiced together, 3+ years. It would be a perfect fit for that to happen.
Yeah, when we drafted Dwayne Haskins, our third round pick was Terry McLaurin, who also played at Ohio State. So, unfortunately, that didn't work out too well. But yeah, definitely starting to see it a little bit more.
Yeah,
and thanks, Tyler. I'm going in and out of mic so that I'm not blasting everybody else out here. The other thing that I noticed in this draft is that there was a lot of hometown picks.
There was
people that teams are starting to take into consideration players that loved that team before going. Like obviously, it was found out today before I had my argument with the radio station. I had a big argument with the radio station this morning that Jordan Davis's mom was a big Eagles fan while he was growing up. So, and that played some part in this. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people. The Jets' dad, the guy who did, I think, our first round pick from the Jets. He was so excited about the fact that his son is going to play for his favorite team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and
that was a cool video.
Absolutely, and there's something to be said for that type of stuff. That these teams, when you think of how good Rodgers may have been when it came to if he was to play in San Francisco rather than play in Green Bay. I think personally, I think of Matty Ice. Matty Ice was an Eagles fan growing up. He grew up in Pottstown, which is about 35 minutes away from me. And he was an Eagles fan all of his life. He has the hardest time beating the Eagles. Can't do it. I think his record is like 1-7 against the Eagles. And there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rodgers can't win against San Francisco at all.
Yeah, that's his hometown. Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said about something like that you're going to maybe play a little bit harder for your home team because those were your dreams.
Right.
You think about that, everybody at one point or another, everybody in every genre of the world has said they're scoring the winning goal, or they are catching the touchdown, kicking the soccer ball, which is I feel like in most of the world, but you have scoring the basket for your favorite team, and you have those dreams, and you start to manifest them. Manifestation is like a big deal right now. And I feel that the teams are starting to take into that into consideration with some of the things that they're doing. And I find that pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, we've got quite a few of the hometown guys, like Chase Young, obviously being from the area, Jonathan Allen from the area. We've got quite a few guys that are from the area that are playing for the team. One of the really cool things that I saw in Jahan Dotson's press conference when they announced him on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday. He's really good friends with Nick Parsons because they went to school together at Penn State and everything. And he actually grew up a Cowboys fan, and he says that he is proud to be a Commander and face Nick Parsons twice a year and beat the Cowboys twice a year. So I'm excited about that.
I think something needs to be said. Tyler, I'm right here. I'm still here. I'm right here. We could have met each other too. I'm just saying. I'm sneaky. Nice to meet you, brother.
Damn, he did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
straight out left sneaky out.
I've been waiting patiently to be like, Tyler, I'm right here. I'm like, do you want me to turn around? I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, like, I'm right here.
He probably wants a cartwheel.
Oh, he's from who? Me?
From you.
Not me.
Oh my! Okay. Let's change this. Okay, real quick. Hold on. Is anybody feet is hurting still?
I woke up with horrible pain in my feet.
So but you have a lot of walking around to do, and I understand, but you got to be used to it. I mean, you got to be able to handle it. I handled it great, and I literally.
Oh, you was no. I would see who. Yeah, you were at the table when Mama Boss was like, "We're going to M&M World," and I'm like, "So you mean to tell me we're gonna walk a half a mile back to come back a half a mile plus to get to the draft?" And she was like, "Yes," and I'm like, "Okay, let's go."
Pork rind doesn't drink, so his liver is just fine.
My liver is just fine.
Yeah, I had water. I didn't even finish the Bloody Mary. The only time I became an alcoholic when I was on the plane. That was the only time I was an alcoholic.
Yeah,
I drank some. I did drink some, but not a lot. Not a lot. You can't drink a lot. It's really this. As I know that we're in Vegas, and I know that it's a great time and all, but this is a working trip. I mean, we are, as much as I enjoy the fanfare and I enjoy being in the inner circle, it's like, the best way I can explain it is like it's like a drug. It is absolutely like a drug.
I agree. Oh, wholeheartedly.
Where I am I'm so excited and I'm so amped up that the energy level from me just exudes out of me. Like I'm dancing. I don't dance at all. You can't get me. You can't pay me.
Yeah, that was quite
I'm
evident.
sitting there dancing.
I could tell.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
I thought
the
you
camera
were
liked to show me dancing, which was scary.
A seizure. I will say this. For me, I think the best moment for me was when they had one of the, I guess he was a longtime season ticket holder for the New York Giants. He was about to leave. And before, like 5 or 10 minutes before he left, he turned over to me and was like, "Hey, you and your son take my seats." Because it was him and his wife. For him to do that. And he just met me. We, of course, we conversated, and of course, True Blue. I did talk to your fellow, but I didn't get his information, which I meant to. And then the love that the Giant base, the Giant family that I met on for the first time, and some people actually were following me. I do have a bunch of new signatures on the belt. It was an overall great time. I met some great people. Great fans. Oh, I can't wait till next year. I mean, KC, here we come.
Yeah.
See, he's got the bug.
Oh yeah. I know the Hall of Fame is in July. I don't know if I could do the Hall of Fame.
August.
Oh, August. I'm sorry, August. But and I mean, true. Maybe we could talk about that offline, kind of get an idea, because I know that's a different venue. I know that's a different animal in itself.
Yeah.
But overall, I saw Barry Sanders, and he pointed at me.
No.
I said,
Stop it.
Barry!
Stop it.
He was like, my man.
Stop it.
My man.
He's pointing at me.
And then he was
That's
like,
all right.
call me.
That's all right.
Call me. I'm like, I will call you, Barry, but I don't have your. I do have a confession to make. I would be wrong if I didn't admit this. You got to keep in mind, my first draft, I'm hanging around Hall of Famers for the first. You guys are all veterans. I mean, you guys been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Pork Ryan got the contacts, because he's been there, done that. I called. When Amani Toomer first walked out, I said, "Oh my God, that's Plex." Oh wait, no, that's Amani. That's a Toomer. I messed up. And
I got a tumor.
I called, and I'm gonna say it right now, Amani Toomer is the most underrated wide receiver in NFL history. I will stand by that.
And he was talking about
he got a
Charlie Batch. Charlie Batch has got one of the best arms ever in the NFL.
Sneaky.
Charlie Batch threw hard. What?
Hey, Sneaky. I went to school with Plexico.
Did you really?
I did.
Of course. What?
In high school. He was a senior. I was a freshman. But yeah, he was legit, man.
I can't wait to meet some of these players, and I want to pick their brain. I just can't wait. I mean, this was just an awesome experience. Arenas, freaking Arenas. And then he whipped out his freaking huge ass Hall of Fame ring.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, show off.
Yeah, that was a great pick. That was definitely a great pick. He's really class act, man. I really like him.
And I really did enjoy kind of catching you guys in your own element, and I was telling, and I thought it was awesome how when I sat in front and it was just you and I basically next to each other, Philly, and I'm like, wow, this just started with a couple TikToks.
Yep.
I mean,
when you go back to the origin of how this all came about, where it was just like, I made a song, a parody of a song a parody of The Devil Went Down to Georgia on how the Giants were going to get their asses beat on Thursday Night Football.
And I still remember you were trying to get me to say yes to shaving my beard. And I'm like,
Yeah, well, hey, listen, I put my mohawk on the line.
But you weren't going to shave your mohawk. You were just going to trim it.
Well, no, I was going to bring it down. I said, obviously, I had to bring it down. It's got to stay a little bit above because I needed to actually have something. But it was going to be. It was tall. It was tall. And it was going to be gone. It was going to it would have had to have been shaved down like a 1.
Yeah.
And everything else.
I'm glad I said nope. I'll just sing the damn song. Actually, not only my family,
you would have won the bet.
I would have. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, and that is the risk because I could have easily have lost the bet too. Yeah. So let me ask these two fellas with I mean they have like the second beard, best beard in the bunch of us. Would you guys ever put your beard on the line?
No,
for a bet.
I've done it to raise.
Well, that's different.
To raise money, but
yeah. That other than that, I'm just saying like a TikTok bet. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Billy's about to rock.
It's about to. You might have to mute the whole thing, not just your mic.
And yes, the Commanders will be paying Scary Terry soon enough.
Sorry about that. I you guys still hear that music behind everything?
Yeah, because it just
I thought I was muting it, but I guess I'm not. So
yeah.
When I first met Pork Wine, he didn't have a beard. Yeah, when he first came on one of my shows,
he
did not have a beard. So,
It was
and I've seen True Blue's beard black, gray, mixed. So it's been a plethora of colors, we'll say.
Yes.
Hey,
And
Philly,
Ziggy's is always about the same.
Philly, did you see the doppelganger for True Blue in the Nashville Inner Circle?
I did.
I did.
Did you see it?
I did.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Look just like True Blue, man.
Did he? I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was-
He was sitting right next to man, I can't remember his name. He wears the Titan emblem over his face.
We should talk about Elvis sitting in your area. What was up with that? Thank you very much.
Mark?
Yeah.
He was just trying to
Vegas it up, baby. Vegas it up.
Just Vegasing it up. That was it. I was pretty surprised. Hey.
I'm going to say this. I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, I wasn't there day one because I missed the text, whatever. There was like, okay, because you had the Niner fans. Everybody was around, all 32 teams. But just in the NFC East, I think we were the only group that did not have someone that had face paint on. Am I wrong? Because day two, I don't remember seeing anybody with face paint.
You did not. So the only guy that I know of that paints his face for the Giants lives in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I have a picture with him. Actually, I have a picture with True Blue and him and his wife.
Yep.
And he's a face painter. He's also like 6'9".
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
So he's like a monster dude. So and I've used the picture a few times on here. Of course, there's no Washington fan to ever be found. So actually, I was surprised at all the Washington fans that were there. You very rarely see as many Washington fans. And I will say that the Giants did represent a lot better than they have in the last couple of years.
Yeah, they have.
And the one guy that bought you the Wooders and stuff like that, he went and he bought everybody in the group.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the guy who's never been really happy. He was never happy with Gettleman.
He wasn't happy with the second round pick.
We thought he was Gettleman's brother for a while, and then he was so miserable.
I can see.
It was just he did not like Gettleman's picks at all, and he was unhappy for the second round pick. And he's a good guy. He's really a good guy. Yeah. It's just his facial expressions are hysterical to me. And I kept trying to get you guys. I'm like waiting to see if you guys are going to pick a quarterback, and of course you didn't pick a quarterback. I was expecting.
I'm not going to say I told you so because you said they're going to pick a quarterback at 5
or 7. I thought 7 actually.
You thought 7? Yeah. Well,
I thought that they were going to take the first quarterback in the draft. That's really what I said. But
yeah, I knew there. I think if he would have, if Shane would have went. Oh, speaking of Shane. Did you guys happen to see his press conference or the highlight of his press conference where he was being challenged by the media? I think it was Peter something. I can't think of his name. But he asked about Tony being on the table, Cadavius. And he is like, we are not, thank you, Powell. Yep. Bet the beard for the division. Oh, no, hell no. I read that wrong. I thought he said the best beards in the division. I read that wrong.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. No. Anyway, so apparently Shane was pressed about the non-trading of Tony, and he says Tony is not on the table. And then the dude asked him the same question again, and Shane had the perfect response. Just reflect on what I just said. That's going to be my new. You know what? I'm going to put that on my email header from here on out. Just reflect what I just said. He basically said, I'm not going to say what because we all know what he just said.
Yeah.
To reflect on what he just said. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
And what I'm going to have on mine is that you know how I feel about this country.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
The joke that keeps on giving.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, yes, I did. I did see that we released Nate Herbig, and I think he's going to be. It's a shame. It's a shame they couldn't get like a 6th or 7th round pick for him. I also thought that they were going to trade Dillard, so I'm surprised that they did not. But I think that they wanted him to be the backup again this year. They're not going to extend him, so he's going to wind up going somewhere else, after this year. But obviously, he's not going to get the 5th-year option. But I thought that they may try to trade Herbig, get like a 6th or 7th round pick. But they weren't interested. They really weren't interested. I mean, we started this draft with 10 picks. We only wound up with 5 players. 6 if you're counting A.J. Brown, but we only drafted 5 players.
Oh, I mean, you traded? You guys did a lot of trades or what?
Yeah, we moved up. We gave away a lot of picks to move up above Baltimore because I think the Eagles thought that Baltimore was going to take Davis. So they gave up 2 4ths and a 5th for Davis, along with a 1st-round pick just to move that up. And then we gave away our 1st and our 3rd-round pick to the Titans, which is really a deal. I mean, I think that was a steal from the Titans.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll ask the question, but go ahead.
And then we moved up to pick 181, which was in the 6th round, and gave away the rest of our draft. So they really did a lot to just move up and get the players that they wanted specifically.
Now, why couldn't we trade?
I tell you, all right, so I'm going to respond on this. I know that Jalen Reagor has cleared his Instagram and stuff like that. Jalen Reagor is going to be a good player. I know that everybody is down on him and what have you. That the Eagles said, go ahead and try to find a trade. If you're that unhappy, go ahead and try to find a trade. Truth of the matter is that he's going to be a good player. I don't think he's suited for Philadelphia, and he's always going to be compared to Jefferson, and it's not really fair to him. It's not really fair, but he's going to wind up going somewhere else and being a good player. I think he's going to be better than Nelson Aguilar.
Was there a running back taken in the 1st round?
No.
How about
no?
That?
Actually, I believe there was. I do believe there was.
I think Abraham picked 29, 28, 29.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
I mean, there was only one quarterback taken in the 1st round.
Yeah.
The Liberty kid didn't go until the 3rd round, right?
3rd round, yep.
And so he was miserable. He was miserable.
Yeah, and here's the story behind that. The Dallas Cowboys were actually going to take him at the 88th pick.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
The Dallas Cowboys were actually going to take him at the 88th pick, and the team that took him got 3 picks ahead.
Tennessee.
It took him right then and there.
Well, I mean, what's his face is 34 years old, Tannehill. So
yeah.
Give
him a couple years to play behind him. Why not?
So I have a story to tell. Because we're running short on time now, and we could probably talk. We're going to probably talk the next couple of weeks about the draft. But I have to pull out. That's what she said.
Yep. That's exactly what she said.
Literally.
The $5 bill. You better frame that $5 bill.
Did you put a phone number on it?
It's on the back. On the other back.
She did not put a phone number on it. So I'll tell you the story on how this is going. The Eagles trade
slid in those DMs.
Yeah, you know that I did. So here it is. I am the girl who's about to announce the pick for the Eagles is going up on stage to do the 4th round pick, and it gets traded away. And she comes back down. So I go over to start talking to her. I'm like, yeah, you're definitely going to get a pick today. Don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. Like, just kind of calming her down a little bit because she was a little upset. She's like, I thought I was going to have this pick, and I'm not going to do it. And Yeah, she was getting a little nervous. I was like, no, they're going to definitely have a pick today. You're going to get up on stage. They're going to make sure that happens. That being said, here comes Rachel. And Rachel comes up to me, literally, as I'm in the middle of a conversation, and says, you look like a lot of fun. Do you want to do this bit with me? And I'm like, sure. You know what I mean? As we're walking back, there's like 6 people that are trying to stop me to take a picture. I don't turn anybody down for a picture ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, NFL Network wants me to do a bit, so I got to go do a bit. And they're like, all right, fine. So I go to do the bit, and we're sitting there, and she kind of gives me what's going to happen with this bit. And she gives me like, this is kind of what I want you to say. And I come up with my own words, like this is how she kind of wants it. And this is the framework of the bit. And, work it out. And I worked it out. And it's funny because the camera guy was on me a lot. Like I got to know the camera guy pretty well because obviously there wasn't anybody else at the draft except me, it seems.
Yeah, the third day. Yeah.
It seemed like everybody knew who I was from this draft. And, so, and I tell him, I'm like, listen, the Raiders are about to make a pick. You should probably do this bit after the pick because it's going to get loud. And they actually listened to me. I was like, this is NFL Network. And I'm saying, I don't know, this is what I would do, but the Raiders are about to make a pick. I think it's going to get loud. I don't know that it's the right time to try to do that. And they said, but you know what? We think you're right. And went ahead and did that. And next thing you know, the Raiders make their pick. They're screaming, yelling, carrying on. And then here I come. She does her thing. She goes live. And
thanks, Ed.
I come out and bang, just I'm really here to see you.
Is she married though? I'm just curious. She's not married.
She's not married. She's not married. From what I heard, that she does have a boyfriend. I don't.
So you're saying there's a chance?
You're
I had
saying
never
there's a
met her
chance.
before. I had never met her before. But she was pretty. So I actually said, "Hey, listen, you sure you don't want me to pick you up and like carry you away?" I literally asked her that.
You got to make it believable.
And she goes, "No."
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny, and everybody from the NFL Network, who's like her handlers, were laughing because I was like, "No."
Who was so on day 2? Who was? And I know who the one girl was that had on the dress, right? She was on NFL Network, but who was the other one that had on like the pantsuit?
The tall.
Yeah.
Kimmy Brunette, you're talking about.
Yeah.
She was the one that did Saturday too. She does Saturday with Scott.
She did Saturday and Sunday?
Scott Hansen. On Sunday.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't. I don't know what she did on Sunday because I wasn't there.
There was nothing on Sunday.
Exactly.
Did they even show anybody on TV on Sunday? Well, of course, besides Jamie.
They replayed me a lot.
True. Were you out there on Sunday?
In fact, I got messages today that they were showing me on ESPN today.
Sneaky, the draft was over on Saturday.
I mean, you know what I meant. The third day, Saturday. Like, were you guys there on Saturday? I'm sorry.
No. He thought Dean Blandino was 56.
The last thing that I did, that I can say that was kind of funny is that when I went to go take up a picture with Roger Goodell, I literally turned to him and I'm like, "Hey, Roger, do you mind if I borrow the company jet?" And he looks at me and he starts laughing. He goes, "Yeah, anytime you want." I'm like, "All right, cool." It's just kind of funny. And as he's walking off the stage a couple of times, I'm like, "Hey, I need the jet. I need the jet." He's like laughing at me. So as he's leaving, I catch him, and we're way off stage, so we're way out the back. And he's like, "Hey, are you going to actually take that shit off, or are you going to sleep with that?" I'm like,
right, yeah.
Roger, it gets on it messes up all the pillowcases. Yeah, and he started laughing, and that was my interaction with Roger Goodell. So, hey, listen, I need to borrow that plane, Roger. You promised me. I'm coming. I'm holding you to your word.
You know, I know we're running really low, short on time. My interaction, Roger, can I get a selfie? I'll be right back. He never came back.
Hey, sneaky.
He
I came
never
close.
came back.
He walked right by me to take a picture with somebody else, which was a female.
That's why he gets booed all the time.
That's like that's a swing and a miss. You know what? I'm gonna start tweeting Roger. You know what? This is gonna be my new goal. This year, my goal was to be in the inner circle. Check. Next year, day one.
All right. On that
That's gonna
note,
be-
as you're figuring out what you're going to say to Roger Goodell,
Yeah.
we're obviously done and out of time. We
Oh, yeah.
appreciate everybody that hung with us tonight. We're probably still going to be talking about this next week. We could probably go for another half hour to an hour about this show. So it's, but I really do appreciate everybody that's coming, that stayed with us and hung out with us today. And watched all of our videos and pictures and TikToks. I am going to put it together a collage for everything. I'm sure everybody else is going to as well. But as always, we'll see you guys next Monday night. For the 60th episode of the NFC.
60.
And as always,
Let's go Giants.
How about them?
go Birds.
Take command.
Yeah.
Together.